What's up everybody, and welcome to Northeast Preparedness and Outdoors. Today we're going to take a look back at my 2021 Maxpedition Micro EDC kit, see what's changed in my updated kit for 2022. Changes were made based on what I found myself using regularly and what I was using rarely or not at all. Keep in mind that what I choose to carry is based on my own needs and is probably going to be completely different than what you might carry. That said, keep the comments civil. There's no need to attack or humiliate anyone because their choices don't reflect your own. Remember, opinions are like assholes. We all have them and they all stink. But before we get into the contents of these kits, pause the video now and take a guess at the weight of the new kit. For reference, the 2021 kit weighs 14.27 ounces. Drop your guess in the comments below, and we'll see who's the closest when I reveal the weight later on in the video. As you can see, both kits are relatively the same width when fully loaded. In hand, they feel pretty close in weight. But let's open them up and see what's inside. You can see right away that the 2022 kit has a bit more inside than my kit from last year. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the contents of the 2021 kit. We have a tube of chapstick, a Sheffield multi-tool, a Streamlight Nano flashlight, a cheap $1 box cutter, a mechanical pencil, a pen, a multi-bit screwdriver, and a Bic lighter. In the Altoid Smalls container, I have a 32GB flash drive, a micro SD to SD card adapter with an 8GB micro SD card, a small USB network adapter, and a micro SD to USB adapter. In the pockets, I have a couple band-aids and a couple alcohol swabs, a small Apple Lightning cable that somebody borrowed and never returned, a bunch of small zip ties, a small 3-foot tape measure, and some duct tape and Gorilla tape. Now let's go through the contents of my updated kit. First thing I have is another mini lightning cable. It also has a USB-C adapter and a micro SD card in it. This makes it perfect to use for my iPhone and most of my cameras. In this tin I keep some extra strength Tylenol and some Plackers toothpicks. I usually have more Tylenol than this, but I tend to use it a lot at work. This is my Gerber Shard mini pry bar. This thing comes in handy a lot when I need to pry small things but don't want to ruin the blade of my knife. Then I have my Altoid Smalls tin, which is a kit in itself. Inside I have a mirror which can be used with the toothpicks or even for signaling if needed. A USB to USB-C adapter that I use a lot to connect things to my MacBook. A 32GB flash drive that has personal information and family photos. A small pill bottle that holds 2 to 3 doses of my allergy medication. SIM card ejection tool, a couple of small safety pins, a micro SD to full-size SD card adapter, and lastly, a guitar pick. I play guitar and the ones I put in my pocket always seem to disappear, so it's nice to have one on hand. And moving on, I have a few 8-inch zip ties, a small multi-tool with a couple of blades and a few screwdriver bits, a Sharpie marker, a black Pilot G2 pen, a few 3x5 index cards for taking and leaving notes, a tube of chapstick, my Victorinox camper, which is probably my all-time favorite pocket knife. Full-size Bic lighter, zip tied to keep it from discharging, a couple of hair bands because I have daughters. Connected to them is a Night Eyes S-beaner that I use for connecting stuff to my keyring. I have some small zip ties for doing cable management on computers. And I believe this is called the UST ice whistle. It's extremely loud, and it has a small compartment with a roll of paper that you can use for notes or for Tinder. This is just a cheap single AAA flashlight by a company called Hugsby. I grabbed it off Amazon 3 years ago for about $10, and it's held up pretty well since. It's actually pretty bright. And I have a single AAA battery for the flashlight, wrapped in electrical tape to keep it from discharging. In the pockets I have a couple of gauze pads, which I chose over the band-aids in the last pack because they can be used for smaller or larger wounds. And I have a couple of sanitizing towelettes. And last of all, I have a small amount of electrical tape and 1-inch Gorilla Tape. So now that you've seen all the contents, the weight of this kit is 14.24 ounces. It's not heavy at all, and it holds all I need from day to day without having to dig into my bigger bag that I keep in the car. You can see the amount of extras that I squeezed into this new pack compared to last year's pack. I'm sure next year will bring several new changes as life unfolds. I hope you enjoyed this side-by-side look at my Maxpedition Micro EDC kits from 2021 and now 2022. If so, be sure to hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, by all means hit the thumbs down. This helps me to know what kind of content to make in the future. Also consider subscribing if you haven't already. Only about 10% of my viewers are currently subscribed, and I'd love to double that number this year. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.